Salutations and welcome to the farm. I'm coming to you this morning from inside my summer kitchen where it's a little cool, but I'm not going to lie, today is going to be a hot day. Today I will not be working on the deck. Today I will not be working out on my barn quilt. I will not be working in the garden. Today is going to be about preservation of our livestock. Today we're expecting a heat index of 109 degrees, which is very high here in Iowa. Archie says good morning. He's already crowing about how hot it's going to be. I was up very early this morning, watered the garden. I really debated if I was going to water the garden. I didn't want to water it and then have all of that root system just basically cook in this heat that we're going to have today. But I watered well, I watered deep, and I'm kind of hoping that they'll have that water and then everything will just curl in if it gets too hot for them. I figured it was better to water than not. So I got up early, watered everything, harvested some cherry tomatoes because when Papa Jim gets home from work today, I'm gonna have a really nice cool salad for dinner tonight because he's working out in this heat today. So we wanna make sure that we have something really nice and cool for him when he gets home. I also have a bucket of cucumbers that I'm going to be cutting up and slicing, and I'm going to be throwing those over to the chickens throughout the day just so they have a nice treat. But it's going to be hot. So like I said, we're going to work on preservation. 2 years ago, we had a heat index of 106 and we lost one of our ponies. Despite having shade, despite having cool water, despite having a misting system set up so that she could stay cool, it was just too much for her. So I'm going to take extra care with CJ, our baby donkey, today. He has shade. There is a slight breeze today, so that's going to help. I have a fire hose connector set up with his hose down there so I can really spray. Kind of, even if I don't spray him directly, I can at least mist the air and hopefully cool down his area a little bit. I've got some things in the freezer that I'll be showing you as I pull them out and setting them up for the chickens. I've got the hose going down to the pond so it'll overflow and Pigglesworth can make a little wallow down there so he can cover himself in mud and stay cool. I have the hose on a shower setting and it's actually spraying over the fence into the chicken yard. The chickens can walk under, they can cool themselves down if they need to. The ducks can play in the water if they need to. And all of that water is going to form a nice little mud bath for them. And they're not going to bathe in it, of course, but they can walk through it. They will have to walk through the mud to get to the coop. And having their feet in that water is going to cool them down a little bit, so we'll have that. I've got some things in the freezer that we'll be putting in their water, especially for our little poults and our keats. I've got to find a way to really keep them cool on this very hot day. They do have shade. I've taken the water out of their metal watering, hanging watering can, because that heats up. I don't want it to get hot. Taking the water out of that, they're not going to rely on that. I do have a nice tub for them to have fresh, cool water. I'll be changing it throughout the day. And also, I will be adding some ice treats in there as well. So hopefully everybody will be able to stay cool and we'll make it through this heat wave. Today and tomorrow is where we're going to have all of this heat. So just a few of the things that I've prepared for today is I rounded up some water bottles, filled them up with water, and threw them in the freezer. I'm going to put these in with the baby poults and the keats, and I've got Dolly, the little chicken, out there. And if they want to, they can just lay up against this and get cool. This is something we used to do when we had rabbits. On very hot days, we would make sure that we would just have something for them to lay up against. So I've got several of these in the freezer, and I'll be putting these out for the chickens and for our little poults and the keats. I also took some Pringles cans that we had and I filled those up with water and I popped those in the freezer. And so those are nice and frozen. And what I'll do is I'll come back now with the kitchen scissors and I'll cut this and I'll peel it away, so I'll just have a nice big ice cube, and I will put those in a tub of water for CJ so his water will be cool. And I might put one out there for the chickens as well. I've got 2 or 3 of these in the freezer. And then I made this treat for the chickens and for my piggy. I have this size container and I also have a very large container, a lasagna pan. And I came out yesterday and on the bottom layer is some sweet corn from last year. I pulled that out of my freezer. I figured I would go ahead and give that up for the chickens. So I did a layer of sweet corn with water and it froze, and then I did another layer with some red grapes. So I will take these out. This will be for the Keats and the poults, and I have the larger one that will be for the chickens and the ducks and Joey the turkey. And I will take these out and I will put these out in the chicken yard in their coop. And that way they can just peck at it. They can try to get to the frozen vegetables and fruit, and that will just kind of sustain them throughout the day. I'm hoping that as they peck at it and they get to the grapes, they'll just peck at the grapes and nobody will try to swallow a whole grape. Hopefully they won't get to that. Cut dirty my fingers, or I've been out in the garden. But so these are the things that I have set up in place for some coop management and some livestock management today, in hopes of just really keeping them cool as we go through this really high heat index. Well, we've come up on the hardest part of the day. The next few hours are the crucial hours, so let's take one of the treats out to the chickens, see how they do, and see if I can keep from falling into that mud puddle while doing it. Ooh, girls. All right, there you go. I made a separate block here of the frozen corn and grapes for the poults and the Keats. So I'm going to take those into them and see how they like it. Ducky Deuce, what do you think of that treat? Oh, they've already gotten through to the corn. That's awesome. I've positioned the water here so that the turkeys kind of have to walk through it as they go back and forth to the shade. It's in as much shade as I can get it in, but at least it's keeping their feet cool, cools them down. They'll come over and they'll discover this little treat in just a little bit. Make a mad dash for it, Betty. Get in there and get some corn. Ooh, the ducks are being bossy. You mean old bossy ducks. Let the chickens have some. It's not just for you. I ought to chase you guys away a little bit. Let the chickens come have some. Come on, Joey. Come get some. Come on, Joey. Come on, Betty. Come on, Archie. They've had their fill, now you guys can come get some. Come on. That ought to keep them busy for a little while. Until the ducks come take over again. You guys are a bad crew. You're just a bad little gang of meanies. Oh! Oh, you're so mean. So mean. Okay, point taken. Next time I need to make more than just one. Because the ducks are bullies. Get in there, Joey. Tell them who's who. Ooh, I'm already overheated. Just taking those treats out to the chickens. But I have to still worry about our baby donkey. So I've got this canister here that I filled up with water earlier, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my gardening shears to kind of try to start cutting this. Man. There we go. Got it. Look at this. You have to turn it the right way so it kind of peels with its natural perforations in the canister. Woo! Ta-da! You know, these are handy for camping or anything that you need some ice for. So let's take this down to CJ. I'm going to wear a glove so I can carry it down without getting any type of ice burn on my hand. And we'll just go plop this in his water and see if it'll help cool his water down for a little while. Let's go. Wow, did you hear that? It just popped. It's so hot out here, I'm not kidding. The end of that ice just popped off. It just popped and shattered as I'm walking. Whew. There is a breeze, so that's nice. But it is hot. Hopefully that'll maybe last 20 minutes or so. Cool that water down a little bit so when he has a drink, he'll have something cool. Hi, honey. Come on, baby. I brought you something. Hello, love. I dropped something in your water for you. How are you, my baby? He says, I'm good. I'm good. You didn't bring me any treats. What's wrong with you? He's checking out what's floating in his water. He's not too sure about it. Hopefully this won't spook him and he stays away from the water. That would be a tragedy. That's just going to cool things down for you, buddy. I love you. I love you. You sweet boy. I know, no treats. Next time I'll bring you down some treats. Right now I just brought you something to keep you cool. All right. Well, the sun is setting on day 4 of excessive heat here in central Iowa. I've just put everybody to bed. You can hear the ducks are coming in. They're getting ready to put themselves to bed. And so far, everything that we've put into use for keeping everyone cool has worked. We've not experienced any losses, even though we've had very high heat indexes. Wednesday, we're expecting a heat index of up to 112, which for central Iowa is really very excessive. So I'm hoping that you're going to be able to use some of the things that I've shown here to keep some of your feathered friends and your furry friends cool. And if you have any ideas on ways to keep your livestock and your flock cool on those really excessive hot days, be sure to comment below. Let us know how you do that. So for now, that's it from the farm. We've got more hot days ahead of us. Until we see you again, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye. I tell you what, that mud hole stinks, but it keeps everybody cool. Okay, kids, let's go to bed.